Morning, sir. We're tackle about different techniques commonly used in criminal investigation. First is cognitive interview technique. The purpose to improve witness recall and gather more accurate details by focusing on how memory works. Now, key elements they create the context of the crime, example, location, time, sensory, or details. Then ask the interview to describe the event in multiple orders, forward, backward. Use open-ended question to elicit detailed narratives. Then the advantage is enhance the retrieval of memory without leading or influencing the witness used in the witnesses and victims. Our proceed to the PACE model. The purpose, a non-coercive ethical interviews technique developed in the UK, aiming to gather information rather than extract conclusions. Planning and preparation for situations, questions and strategies for the interview. Engage and explain establishes a rapport and explains the purpose of the interview. Then account encourage the subject to provide their version of events in their own words. Closure summarizes key points and ensure that nothing has been missed. Then evaluation reviews to gather information and assesses the interview's success. Advantages is encourage operation and avoids false confusions. Used with suspects, witness, and victims.
So, good day, sir. So, I'm going to continue the different techniques commonly used in criminal investigation interviews. So, next we have a red technique. Purpose, a controversial method aimed at obtaining confessions, especially from suspects. Steps, non-accusatory interview phase, used to assess if the person is being deceptive. Confrontation phase, the interrogator directly accuses the suspect and presents real or fabricated evidence. Theme development, suggests possible motives to minimize the moral or legal consequences of the crime. Handling denials, interrupts denials and pressures the suspect to admit guilt. Advantages, can lead to confessions, but it is criticized for leading to false confessions when misused. Used with primarily suspects. So, the red technique, it is a method of interrogation used primarily in criminal investigation to elicit confessions from suspects. So, when we see when we see elicit confession, means getting a person to admit or confess that they are guilty, usually through questioning or persuasion. In criminal investigation, it refers to the process of making suspects say that they are involved in the crime. The goal of the investigator is to guide the suspect to confess or admit their guilt. So next we have number 4, the kinetic interview technique. So the purpose focuses on observing body language, facial expressions, and verbal cues to detect deception. Key elements: verbal cues, paying attention to speech patterns, pauses, and contradictions. Non-verbal cues, observing physical signs of stress, such as body posture, gesture, and eye movement. Advantages: helps interviewers identify when someone is being dishonest or withholding information. Used with suspects and sometimes witnesses. So, kinetic interview. Kinetic interview technique can help interviewees pick up on signs that a suspect may be lying or withholding information.
Good day, everyone. I'm here to discuss to you about strategic use of evidence through technique. First is purpose, to gradually present evidence in a way that expose inconsistencies in the suspect account. The key elements start by letting the suspect provide their a version of events without showing them evidence. Gradually introduce the evidence when contradictions arises. Use the evidence to challenge the suspect credibility. Um, there's the advantage. It helps avoid false confessions by not confronting the suspect with the evidence too early. Use with suspects. Um, Next is the stepwise interview technique. The purpose is a method for interviewing vulnerable individuals, especially children, in a gradual and non-threatening way. There's some steps of interview technique. First is start with general open-ended question to build rapport. Gradually focus on more specific details related to the crime. Next is use non-suggestive questions to avoid leading the interviewee. The advantage here is the particularly useful for minimizing stress on children and obtaining reliable testimony. Next is use with. It is vulnerable populations, especially children. And that's all.
Tactical interviewing. Purpose: to use psychological tactics and strategy to elicit confessions or admissions. Key elements: use silence to encourage the suspect to speak further. Use repetition of the same question to detect inconsistencies or exhaust the suspect's patience. Present scenarios that indirectly push the suspect toward a confession. Advantages: can be effective in high-pressure situations used with suspect. Number 10. Emotion versus logical approach. Purpose: tailoring the interview strategy based on the emotional or logical tendencies of the suspect. Key elements: emotional approach appeals to the suspect guilt, shame, or personal connection, or e.g. family impact. In short, kuan suspect nakasuko, shame, or have a personal connections. Logical approach focuses on presenting facts and evidence in rational manner to challenge inconsistencies. It is a focus of to present the fact and the evidence. Advantages: provides flexibility in dealing with different types of suspects. Use with suspects.
Good day, sir. I am Renal G.S. Lun from Basecream 3D. This is my assigned topic. Silent approach. Purpose: a non-confrontational technique that use silence to create discomfort, encouraging the suspect to speak. Key elements: ask a question and remain silent after the answer, using the silence to compel the interviewee to continue talking. Use strategically when a suspect is withholding information. Advantage: can be effective in encouraging the interviewee to fill the silence with additional information. Use with suspect. Rapport-based interviewing. Purpose: establishes a relationship of trust between the interviewer and the interviewee, encouraging openness. Key elements: create a comfortable environment and express empathy. Engage in small talk or topics unrelated to the crime to build trust. Gradually transition into more sensitive question when rapport is built. Advantages: helps reduce resistance, especially in sensitive or emotionally charged case. Use with witnesses, victims, and sometimes suspects.